The endless miles of highway blurred into a hypnotic rhythm as I drove, chasing the horizon towards Georgia. To save money, I'd become accustomed to sleeping in my car, turning the back seat into a temporary haven. I thought I was invincible, a master of the open road. But the road had a secret waiting for me. That night, somewhere on the border between Virginia and North Carolina, I pulled into a rest stop that felt wrong from the start. The air was thick with humidity, and an unsettling quiet hung heavy, like a predator holding its breath. I tried to ignore the feeling, craving only sleep. I reclined the seat, cracked the windows, and closed my eyes, seeking refuge in the darkness. The scent of damp leaves and stale rubber filled the air, mingling with a growing sense of dread. Sleep was a siren's call, but something primal screamed for me to stay awake. Then, a tap. Soft at first, almost imperceptible, but deliberate. It was the sound of something small hitting glass, each tap a tiny hammer blow against my sanity. My body tensed, every nerve on high alert. The tapping continued, irregular and persistent, each sound amplifying my fear. Drizzle? No. Squirrel? Maybe. Or something far more sinister, something watching, waiting for me to wake. My heart hammered against my ribs, a frantic drumbeat in the oppressive silence. Every creak of the car, every rustle of leaves outside, magnified into monstrous threats. I couldn't ignore it any longer. Summoning every ounce of courage, I slowly lifted my head, peering through the darkness. What I saw banished sleep forever. What I saw changed everything. A face pressed against the glass, inches from my own, a face that belonged in nightmares. Pale, sickly white skin stretched taut over bone, framed by tangled black hair, a face of pure evil. Her eyes were rolled back, only the milky whites visible, staring into my soul. Her lips were peeled back in a grotesque smile, revealing rows of rotten, decaying teeth, a grin that promised only pain. Frozen in place, I could only stare back, paralyzed by fear. The silence between us was broken only by the frantic pounding of my heart, the only sign that I was still alive. The silence stretched, each second an eternity. Then, instinct took over. I fumbled for the keys, my hands shaking so violently I could barely grip them. The engine roared to life, shattering the stillness with a defiant scream. Hope surged through me, a desperate lifeline in a sea of terror. Tires screeched as I threw the car into reverse, the sudden movement flinging her back. Windshield wipers smeared her face across the glass, a grotesque watercolor painting of horror. As I slammed the car into drive, she dropped to all fours, her movements unnaturally swift and animalistic. A shriek, not of this world, pierced the night, chasing after me. I glanced in the rearview mirror, catching a glimpse of her, a creature of nightmare, moving too fast, too feral to be human. Blinding speed carried me into the darkness, away from the rest stop, away from the horror lurking beneath the shadows. But I knew deep down that I would never truly escape. The road ahead stretched endless and empty, a black ribbon unwinding into the abyss. But the memory of that grin, those eyes, followed me like a phantom passenger. Every mile marker was a reminder, every flickering streetlight a warning. I was running, but I couldn't hide. Dawn broke, painting the sky in hues of gray and blood orange. But the light brought no comfort, no solace, only a stark reminder of the terror I had witnessed. I pulled into a diner seeking the warmth of human contact, the reassurance of ordinary life. But the faces around me seemed distant, alien, as if they belonged to another world. The waitress, her smile strained, poured me a cup of coffee, but even the familiar aroma couldn't mask the lingering scent of damp leaves and decay. Every shadow seemed to writhe, every creak of the floorboards echoed with a sinister whisper. The world had been tainted, infected by the horror I had seen. I forced myself to eat, to drink, to pretend that everything was normal, but the taste of fear lingered on my tongue, a constant reminder of my encounter. Leaving the diner, I stepped back into the daylight, but the sun felt cold, distant, offering no warmth, no comfort. The road called to me, a siren song of escape. But I knew that no matter how far I drove, I could never truly outrun my nightmares. The rest stops I passed were now monuments to fear, each one a potential gateway to the darkness I had glimpsed. I resolved to never stop, never sleep until I reached my destination. I drove through the night, fueled by caffeine and adrenaline, my mind racing, replaying the horror again and again. Finally, as the sun rose, painting the sky in hues of hope, I reached Georgia. But the weight of my experience lingered, a shadow clinging to my soul. I reached my girlfriend's house seeking solace in her arms, but even her embrace couldn't dispel the lingering chill of fear. That night, I lay awake, haunted by the memory of the pale woman's face. I knew that she would always be with me, a passenger on my journey through life. Some rest stops are better left untouched. Some passengers are better left uninvited. I learned that lesson the hard way, a lesson I will never forget. Whenever I drive, I keep moving, never stopping, always watching the shadows, because you never know what might be lurking in the dark, waiting for you to close your eyes. The road is a dangerous place full of unseen horrors and forgotten secrets. So be careful, be vigilant, and never, ever sleep in your car. The highway whispers, warnings, a haunting symphony for those who dare to listen. Heed them, and perhaps you'll reach your destination unscathed. For in the heart of every journey lies a dark truth the road remembers.